Hello everyone, welcome to this video on variables. Before we start with this, I want to ask you a question. So why do you think we need to learn programming? Just think about it. If you said to make our life easier, then you are correct. We simply instruct the computer via programming, means we tell what has to be done and the things that are required to be carried out. But how can we instruct the computer to perform various tasks for us? It is by speaking to it via programming languages. There are many languages out there, but here we will be using the C++ language. In any program, we have some data with us, and we'll have to perform certain functions to get the desired result. So, to understand all these things, let's first take a very simple example, which is to calculate the sum of two numbers. So what do we need first of all? We need two numbers, right? So what exactly is it? We have to have two numbers. For example, 5 plus 3. If we think in mathematical sense. But instead of doing this, in maths, we also know something called variables, right? For example, a plus b or x plus y, right? So in maths, we know that variables are any numbers which can change their value throughout a program. So similarly, even in programming language, variables are entities that can change their value throughout the function till the process ends or till the program ends. They do not stay fixed. They can vary. Their values can change. So before that, I'll just tell you that in order to carry out the function, we have to know that this is a simple example of, this is a simple structure of a program. And everything we want to do, we'll do here inside the main function. This we can say that this is the body and the core function has to be performed in here. So what do we have to do? We have to add two numbers. So let's first write here addition of two numbers. All right. So how can I add two numbers? Can I just write two variables a plus b and just leave it like this? No. There are certain programming rules that we have to keep in mind. And these variables also have come in different types. We cannot just say that all the variables are similar. There are different types of variables, right? There are numbers, characters, right? And even inside numbers, there are many types. For example, integers, floating point numbers, right? So for this example, let's consider our input values to be just integers, all right? Not floating point numbers, meaning the decimal numbers. So in order to define a variable, we have to first specify the type of the variable. In our case, it's integer. And the keyword for integer is int. Now, what is the variable? It can be anything. It can be a, x, t, h, m, anything. For our example, let's say that it's a. So it is the name of the variable is a, and the type of a is integer. So it can store only integer numbers. Now we need another variable, right? Variable b, because it's a plus b. And this another variable's type also, let's assume it to be integer. So what should we do? Any guesses? Okay, I want you all to open your Dev C++ and do the same thing that I'm doing here. All right? I want you all to write this statement on your own. So if you wrote int b followed by a semicolon, then you are correct. Always keep in mind that after every statement, we have to put a semicolon sign. All right? Okay, so now the first part is done. We have defined two variables. Actually, there is another way that we can write this. We can simply write a comma b and one semicolon. That's it, right? We just completed this in one statement, in one line. So this is the definition of variables. All right? So now what do we have to do? What is the main goal of this program? If you said to take the sum of two numbers, then you are correct. So what should I do with the sum of the two numbers? I have to print this. Print means I have to output the value of this. In C++, the keyword that we use in order to print or output a value is C, out, and false, or two greater than symbols. Now, as always, how do we end a statement? If you said by using a semicolon, then you are correct. That's it. It is as simple as it is. We don't have to write anything else in this program. Okay, now what do you think this answer will be if I just execute this program, if I run this program? Okay, I'll give you a hint. I did not give any values to A and B. So this means if I define them, the variable A will be stored in some random memory location, and the value of it will also be random because I did not define any specific value to A. All right? So if I just tell A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 2, then the answer I will get is 3. All right? So let's try to compile and run them. Okay, I'm getting an error here. So what is the error? Okay, I did not put a semicolon after the return 0. So we have to keep that in mind, all right? So let's compile and run. Okay, the answer I'm getting here is 3. Fair enough, right? Okay, now what will happen if I don't put any numbers here? If I don't define any numbers to A and B? Let's see. See, it is just a random number, right? Why is it a random number? Because A and B are stored in some random memory location and they have random numbers in them. So even the answer will be just some random number, right? Okay. Now let's go a step further and change the data type of these two variables. Let's say that now they are floating point numbers or decimal numbers. So for that, the keyword will be float. All right. Now, suppose I write here A is equal to 3.5 and B is equal to 8.0. All right. Now, what will the answer be in? Will the answer be of integer type or floating point type? If you said floating point type, then you are correct. Let's execute and see it. Okay, 11.5. It's fair enough, right? 8.0 plus 3.5 is 11.5. And is it an integer number? No, it is a floating point number or a decimal number. Now what will happen if the value of A is a floating point number and the value of B is an integer point number? Now let's say that it's 2. The value of B is 2. Now what will the answer be in? Will it be a floating point number or an integer number? Let's see. There are certain rules that we have to keep in mind. All right. So if either of the variables are float, then the floating point number will have the precedence over the integer number. Now what will happen if I store the sum inside another variable? For example, let me say that I have another variable here, sum, alright? This is also a variable, just a random box stored inside a random memory location. Now I store the value of a plus b, which is 5.5, inside sum, alright? Now if I output the value of sum, what is the keyword for output? If you said cout, then you are correct. Now if I print sum, then what will be my answer? I'll give you a hint. The data type of sum is int. So what should the answer be? Let's find out. Okay, so now it is not 5.5, it is just simply 5, because the data type of the output variable is integer. But this is not true for always. Now let's say that the data type of sum is float. Now what will happen? Let's see. Okay, 5.5. Okay, so just reminding again, I want you all to write the program along with me and even execute it with me, all right? Now see, the data type of sum is float or floating point number, and hence even the answer is in decimal number, all right? Now what will happen if only sum is a floating point number and both a and b both are integer numbers? Now what will happen? Let's see. 7. Oh, okay, that was actually unexpected, right? Because the data type of the output variable, which is sum, is float, but still the answer is an integer value. So we see that if all the data types of the input values, the input variables are of the same data type, then even the answer, the output data types, the output variables data type will be the of the same type, all right? So that was pretty much it. We played with the data types and the operations related with them. So let me leave with a question for you all. Why do you think that statement was weird when I initially wrote, let me erase this all. When I initially just wrote A and B, why do you think we got this weird answer here? Okay, I have some other, oh, right. So why do you think I got a weird answer over here? I want you all to think over this question and please write in the comments. So to summarize what all we learned in this video, we learned about the importance of learning a programming language. We learned about what variables are and how we apply them to solve a problem using programming. We also learned about the importance of data types and how do we actually have to perform a simple operation in a program. Now, as a homework, I want you all to try two of the other operations in maths. I want you all to perform subtraction and multiplication. If possible, do division also. Okay. So, lastly, thank you so much for watching this video. Do like this video and share it with people who are new to programming. And subscribe it if you want to watch more videos like this. So, I'll see you in the next video.